Hi, I'm Eric Spellman with Spellman and Associates. Today's topic, 3 free ways to triple your web traffic. First, start an email newsletter. I'm here to tell you it works. I know this from personal experience. Email is proactive. Think about it this way. With every other kind of marketing, you have to attract people to come to you. You have to convince people to go to your website. Not so much with email. Email, you send it out. It sits in their inbox. They have to do something with it. Either read it or delete it, but they have to do something with it. It is proactive. In fact, I've discovered that with my email newsletter, which you probably receive, I see a huge spike in web traffic the day I send it out. And over time, that evens out. And I've seen my traffic start to continually rise. It goes for a plateau. And then when I send out another email, it spikes again. But when it comes down at a higher level. Don't be a spammer, though. I mean, like you heard me say, they have to make a decision. They're going to read it or they're going to delete it. You don't want to send just blatant advertising. And you also don't want to send to people who didn't request it. Always make sure that the people you are emailing are people you have talked to. My point, never buy an email list. It's illegal. And you will be called a spammer in a heartbeat. You've got to have content first. Like I said, you can't just send out blatant advertising. What I recommend is that at least the majority of what you send is good content, something people want to read. Heck, it might even be a video they want to watch. The other tiny piece can be some advertising after that. But if all you're doing is using email as a one-way megaphone to advertise your product or service, you're going to find that people don't want to subscribe to that. Speaking of which, make sure people have an unsubscribe option. That's one of the other legal requirements of sending out bulk email. I use MailChimp to handle all this. Trust me, you don't want to just try to create a mail group, say an Outlook or something, for all the email addresses. Outlook chokes after about 100 people. Now keep in mind, I have tens of thousands of people who read my email newsletter, and so I use MailChimp, MailChimp.com. I don't make any money if you go choose them. The only reason I use them is because up to 2,000 subscribers, they're free. That's right. So when you get started, you can use them totally for free. Now, I pay them, but I go way above 2,000 subscribers, and it pays for itself. But in the beginning, if you want to try it out, it's wonderful. So MailChimp.com, give it a try. The second way to drive more traffic to your website, use offline channels, what I call offline channels. Put your web address everywhere. For instance, make sure it's on your business cards. You'd be surprised how many people do not have their web address on their business card. Make it very easy that every time you hand it out, if someone wants to check out your web address, they can. Put it in your email signature. Now, some of y'all are going to go, that's not an offline channel. Well, to me it is, because you only have to do it once. You go into the settings in your email program, add it to your email signature, which automatically gets put at the bottom of every email you send. I love it. I get all sorts of clicks from any email I send. And keep in mind, let's say you're forwarding a joke, and it gets forwarded, and it gets forwarded. You'd be surprised where some of the clicks come from my email signature, from people I never even emailed, but from an email that was forwarded, like my email newsletter. Pamphlets. Put it on pamphlets. Put it on store signs. Your web address ought to be everywhere that the name of your company is. It ought to be on your outside signs, your inside signs, signs stuck to the wall. Like I said, pamphlets, letterhead, everything. Your web address has got to be everywhere. Get on Google's first page. This is my third way. And yes, this is huge, because once you achieve this, the traffic is just, it's amazing how much more traffic you start getting. Now, I have whole videos on how to do this, so I'm not going to rehash all of that, but I'm going to give you the basics. Write content that Google likes. And you know what I mean by that. It's got to be conversational. It's got to be 5th grade level. And it's also got to be unique. It can't exist anywhere else on planet Earth. You can't just copy it from somewhere and paste it on your site. Because remember, Google only gives credit to whichever website had it first. So you've got to have content, text, that Google likes on your website. And you've got to be adding continually. I don't mean just going and change a word somewhere here and change a word somewhere there so that Google thinks you updated your website. No, I'm talking about adding content on a regular basis. You know, like a 400 to 600 word article every week. Monitor your results. Go in and check. How are you showing up for this? How are you showing up for that? Now keep in mind, when Google does searches, when you do a search on Google, Google is looking at what you've searched in the past. So for instance, let's say that you typed in a phrase and you kept coming up number 2, number 2, number 2. And you click on it and you go and it pulls right up. What Google will do is they'll notice, you know what? Every time this guy at that computer types this in, he keeps selecting the second option. So from now on, I'm going to make sure on his computer and his computer only, he starts showing up as number 1. So my point is, since Google knows what you're doing, sometimes the results that Google gives you may be a little skewed. The best way around that is to clear your cache, go into your browser, clear out all your internet history, and then also go incognito with Google. Incognito is the Chrome version of it, but it's also called private browsing if you use Internet Explorer or Mozilla Firefox. And basically, Google won't know who you are, where you're coming from, that kind of thing. And so the results should be pretty regular as to what everyone else is seeing. Use Google Trends. And like I said, just look it up, or you can go to google.com/trends, because it'll help you know what phrases are more popular than others. You think people are typing in this to find you? Probably not. They're typing in this. That allows you to compare one phrase to another, and Google will tell you what the popularity of certain phrases are. Well, I know that was a lot, but I wanted to help increase the traffic to your website. If you have any questions, go to my Facebook account, or go to my website, or just give us a call. I'm Eric Spellman. I'll see you in cyberspace.